まり出した白い闇切り裂く翼になれ
Now that the kana are all done, it's time to move on to the big guns. This is the first in the series that's going to follow that is going to cover the kanji. If you don't remember what a kanji is, let's review. Kanji do have readings, but they're not reliable. Sometimes kanji make sounds that they're never expected to make. Kanji do not represent sounds, like kana do. The kana only represent sounds. The kanji connote meanings. Whatever combination they're in, they always represent some sort of meaning. So, you have to keep that in mind. Learning the kanji is different than learning the kana. I will be teaching you the major ways that they are spoken, but that's not conclusive. You can't really make a conclusive list for all the kanji without doing some intense studying, which will take you into Chinese inevitably. This is Japanese, and we're going to only focus on the major readings. Sometimes the readings will only be 1 or 2. Some of them will get as many as 10. But the main thing is to keep in mind how these kanji are often read. I will be telling you all of the different pronunciations in the different situations. If I didn't, that would be incomplete. It wouldn't really be fair at all. So, don't worry about it. However, there is one little thing you will need to worry about. If you do not know the kana, or more accurately, if you do not know the hiragana, stop this video and learn them first. If you think you're relatively familiar with them and you really want to move on, you won't be lost, and looking at the kana and hearing them being said over and over again and actually using them will allow you to learn them at a quicker pace. But that doesn't really work with everybody, and I do want you to know them, because you are not going to see any more romaji. I will show it to you one more time, but that's it. You might recognize this first kanji as a kanji that I displayed in my introduction video. That's right. All you have to do to make this is draw a straight line. Just a big straight line. A giant horizontal line. If you cannot draw this, don't take Japanese, because you will fail. So what does this mean? This connotes the number 1. Write it out if you want to. Write it in Arabic numerals, or write it in Roman numerals for all I care. This is the Japanese kanji that connotes the meaning of 1. Now, in order to show you how these are read, I am going to show them to you in hiragana. It looks like I just came up with another kana set. Don't worry about it. Hiragana is just a term that means hiragana on top of the kanji that tells you how that kanji is read in that specific circumstance. They're used for kanji that people don't know, but you want to use the kanji anyway, and you write it on top how it's written. And from that written bit, you will usually be able to tell what it means, or you should be able to tell what it means. Or if you're teaching the kanji, which I am doing. So that way you'll be able to know how these are read. But don't think that I'm going to write it in the English letters, because I won't be. It's going to be in the hiragana 99% of the time. There is a small 1% of certain kanji that actually use the katakana. But just so you know, you're going to see very few katakana and no romaji in the following videos. Know the katakana, it does behoove you, but the hiragana is the most important. So know those. Without further ado, let's see the major readings. First off is ichi. Ichi is how you would say the number 1 when you're just counting, like 1, 2, 3. 1 would be ichi. That simple. So now you know how to count to 1 in Japanese. Other readings, meaning when this kanji is used in other circumstances, it can be read as itsu or hito. This is 1 followed by tsu. Now this is technically another reading for the number 1 because it can be in certain situations where that tsu is not written separately and does in fact appear on top of the 1. Or, more effectively in this specific case, it means that before the tsu, it takes the reading hito. Before a tsu is not always the case, but this is hitotsu is technically a 4th reading for the kanji that appears on your screen right now. You'll also notice that on the bottom there is an explanation. That's exactly what it is. This is telling you what hitotsu means. This means 1. In Japanese, when you are counting things, you have things called counters. For example, if you're counting animals, the number will be different. It will be the number with a specific reading followed by it's hard to explain because there is no equivalent in English. It would be followed by a specific kanji with a specific reading that means you're counting animals. Animals are separate from birds, which have their own counter. This also applies to long cylindrical things, thin flat things. There are all sorts of categories. If you don't know what category to use, you can use hitotsu. It's that easy. Sometimes you don't know what to use, or sometimes you just have no idea what those counters are. You can use hitotsu. That just means 1, as in with an ambiguous counter. So let's get to a bigger word. This is hitotsu repeated on itself. Hitotsu, hitotsu, which is a term. It can mean a couple things. Most often it means 1 by 1. So if something was occurring 1 by 1, you would use hitotsu, hitotsu. Hitotsu, hitotsu can also mean separately or in detail. So in those situations, you'd be able to use this appropriately as well. Now we're going to learn something that does not fall into romaji, kana, or kanji. This is not a kanji. Otherwise, it would have a set meaning, and it would have a set list of sounds. It doesn't. It's not romaji. Otherwise, you'd already recognize it. And it's not a hiragana or a katakana because it does not denote a sound. Instead, it denotes a usage. This is a peculiar character. It's very unique, but I'd like to get it out of the way right now. This is what's called an iteration mark. When it is placed after a kanji, it is equivalently copying the kanji and its reading in front of it. So you simply make a stroke like that, and a stroke like that I can't explain, and you mark it off with a little dash. Put it after 1, and it repeats 1 with the same reading. So it becomes ichi-ichi, which means 1 by 1. Itsu-itsu is another possibility, which also means 1 by 1, or separately, not so much in detail, just 1 by 1 or separately. So that is your first kanji. It's a small step for mankind, but it will get tougher. This is just an easy beginning and an introduction to the kanji. This is Angel of Crepusculence, signing off.